Something is fundamentally wrong with the Golden Rule, that much-quoted piece of advice formulated by Jesus in his Sermon on the Mount, which has come into common speech as, "Do unto others as you would have others do unto you." Its wrongness is not gross oversimplification. The amended version I'm going to suggest is almost as simple and very little longer. Nor is the problem that so many people rattle off the Golden Rule without trying to live by it, like the scribes and Pharisees whom Jesus criticized on the grounds that, quote, "they say and do not." Probably glib rattlers off of the Revised Rule could be expected to fail as frequently to practice what they preach. It's not even that Jesus' version promises returns on the investment, both heavenly and worldly. Altruists, like everybody else, always do what they want most to do, and have their reward in feeling good about themselves. No, the inadequacy of the Golden Rule is that its traditional phrasing provides no mechanism for arriving at a valid point of view from which to apply it. In his essay, The Golden Rule in the Light of New Insight, Harvard psychoanalyst Erik Erikson comments, quote, "Systematic students of ethics often indicate a certain disdain for this all-too-primitive ancestor of more logical principles. And Bernard Shaw found the rule an easy target. Don't do to another what you would like to have to be done by," he warned, "because his tastes may differ from yours." Close quote. Whereupon Erikson dismisses criticism, unrejoined, to take up advocacy. Yet Shaw's complaint is precisely what fatally weakens the Golden Rule as it stands. His tastes, needs, cravings, likes, and dislikes may differ from yours. Let me offer a personal illustration. My mother was brought up during the Depression by her unwidowed mother and a clutch of spinster aunts, rigidly Victorian Southern Baptists all. She suffered acutely for the social pariahship inflicted by her family's old-fashioned strictness. She had to wear long winter underwear and heavy overshoes in bad weather. She remembers vividly how in grade school her teachers would let her start getting ready to go home 5 minutes earlier than the rest of the kids because of all the layers she had to put on. She was never allowed to use makeup or go to movies or dances or play cards. Her dearest wish during adolescence was to be like everybody else, to be allowed to practice the outward and visible signs of social conformity. She grew up determined not to subject a daughter of hers to the needless humiliations she had endured. A commendable ambition and a precise application of the Golden Rule. Of the letter. But, alas, not of the spirit. My mother had overlooked the possibility that her own daughter might turn out to have different needs and wishes, and as it became increasingly clear that I wasn't about to provide her with the vicarious normal childhood or adolescence in the natural course of things, she proceeded to force things out of their natural course. I was a tomboy. I had nothing against mud, and coveted other kids' rubber boots for years. But Mom had loathed them far too heartily ever to buy any for me. As soon as I turned 13, she presented me with my first tube of cherry red lipstick and my first pair of high heels. 3-inch heels they were in those days, and I thought them not only uncomfortable, but incredibly hideous. And from then on, made me go to church, thus shod and painted, indistinguishable from the other 8th graders whose arms hadn't had to be twisted. At 10, I had objected so violently to the dancing lessons she wanted me to take that I escaped them, but not the various junior high semi-formal dances and high school proms, where I spent each endless, unnatural, awkward hour dying for release. My poor mother, in short, applied the Golden Rule and treated me as she wished she had been treated, instead of trying to put herself in my very different place and asking herself what would be the fairest and wisest way of treating me.